Yo, what's good, man? It's your boy DT3, man. I'm big edge with another video, man. New media. Notification. Gang. God Squad. What it is, man. Look, check this out. Triple G. Gennady Golovkin. You know, it's funny how when you at this presser, you acting all nonchalant, trying to act like you supposedly hella professional. But really, you one of the most fakest motherfuckers too in boxing right now. Because really, all you've been doing is chasing the Canelo fight. That's all you've been doing. I think you unified with Murata just because Murata was an opponent that at the time was at the level where you could actually beat him. So you finally decided to unify after you've been fighting for God knows how long when you could have been unified, God knows how long ago. When Bubu Andrade was in the division, you wasn't trying to unify. You still ain't tried to unify with the WBC with Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo ain't trying to fight nobody anyway. But either way, you ain't trying to make nothing happen. I don't see you on your end trying to do everything in your power to make these fights happen. And then you want to unify with Murata, and I see why you did that shit with Murata because it's really nothing special about Murata. He's straight up and down, no special effects. He's not going to really give you no dimensions boxing stylistically. So I see why you would take that fight. But you ain't really finna fight no real dogs. And you only reason why you chasing Canelo because Canelo a money fight. And I'm not to say that not to say that you don't believe that you can beat him because you have shown that you have the potential to beat him. You have shown that, yes. But at the end of the day, there are other fights and fighters that you could have fought all along this time before Canelo, after you done fought Canelo, all the shit. And while Canelo is fighting champion after champion after champion, moving up and weight all the shit, you've been sitting there high and low in 160 pounds. You ain't moving up to fight nobody. Because it's funny how you quick to want to fight at 168 now for this Canelo smoke, but when Andre Ward was at 168, you didn't want no parts of Andre Ward. When there were big money fights for you at 68, when you was at your so-called prime in the sport, you wasn't trying to fight none of these top names out here. You was sitting there just chilling, talking about how you want to be at 168, and after these fights talking all this shit, but your bitch ass ain't trying to move up to 68 and do nothing great, motherfucker. You been sitting your old ass right there at 160 and shit. Talking greasy. Now all of a sudden, when Canelo put all the work in to get all the belts, now your bitch ass want to slide up at 168 and try to take some shine and shit. Ain't that a bitch? You ain't put in no real footwork. If you look at what you've done up until this point, you ain't really put in no real footwork. You didn't beat some people and all that shit. Yeah, okay, you didn't beat some people. You beat fighters you was supposed to beat. But every fight, aside from the first Canelo fight, where you was fighting somebody that was actually your level or above, they gave you shit. You got a chin, bro. You got a chin and a hell of a jab. I give you that. But you are beatable. Motherfucker might have a hard time stopping you, but you can be beat on points, Gennady. For real, for real. You could be beat on points. Easy work, Gennady. No problem. Because for real, that first fight, Canelo played with you. If you really know your boxing and you look at how Canelo fight and you know how Canelo fight, based on that first, he played with you, which was a mistake on his part. He shouldn't have did that. He should have took it to you like he did the second fight. But the first fight, he was trying to do too much, trying to be hella slick and smooth and shit because he knew what kind of fighter you was. You was straight up and down, no special effects, all the shit. And he knew the best way to kind of work with you was to be slick. And that's what he thought was going to work for him. And it worked against him. And a lot of people made fun of Canelo for fighting that fight. But if you're looking at it, he's thinking Triple G don't have nothing. It's nothing special about him. He's just a come forward, bull, Mexican style fighter. And then what Canelo had to prove the second fight was, hold up, I'm the better Mexican style fighter than you. Don't get it fucked up. The first fight, Canelo was trying to prove that I'm just an all-around better fighter than you, and it worked against him. To where it ended up being a draw, or he possibly could have really lost that fight for real, for real. But that's what he was doing in the first fight. He was trying to prove that overall, I'm a better fighter than Triple G. He can't outbox me. I'm slicker than him. I'm smoother than him. And it worked against him in the long run. The second fight was Canelo Trump basically saying, hold up, you not a Mexican, period. Yeah, I get it. You learn boxing in the sense of Mexican style. I get that. But when it comes to the Mexican style boxing at its purest, you are not a better Mexican style boxer than me. You're not even a better boxer than me, let alone a Mexican style boxer. So you got me fucked up. So the second fight was Canelo proving that not only are you not a better boxer than me, you're not a better Mexican style boxer than me. So he went double hard on the second fight. So before you start running your mouth, Triple G, start talking shit about Canelo, check yourself first. Because for real, you on some sucker shit, you need to close your goddamn mouth, because it's funny how you quick to talk shit behind somebody back, and when that motherfucker in your face, now you want to act like a little old bitch and be all quiet and shit. No, don't get quiet now. Don't get quiet now when you was talking all that greasy shit. And now you said, we'll see what we do in the ring. Let me tell you something, Gennady. Let me tell you something. This Canelo, this nigga dangerous. And I'm not saying that to hype up you Canelo fans or to juice you Canelo fanboys and none of that shit. I'm just telling you, it's nothing more dangerous than a fighter that's coming off of a loss and he hungry. And he know he need this win. It's a different aspect. And when that fighter is a high caliber, top tier fighter, it's a different ball game, pimping. So Canelo finna come at this fight in a totally different way, in a totally different aspect. So I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo put Triple G on his ass multiple times, if not stop this nigga. Because Canelo not finna play with Triple G. And Canelo done been in there with big dudes. So he know what it's like to be in there and feel the punches of really big dudes. Dudes that are bigger than him. And Triple G probably won't pose that much of a threat based on his style alone. And he's already fought him twice. So he knows what he's getting into. And Triple G ain't doing nothing but getting older. So he is slowing down. He might add a little more slickness to him, but you really can't teach that old dog no new tricks. He's pretty much set in stone with who he's going to be as a fighter. He's sold on being a prototypical Mexican-style fighter. And I'm telling you, Gennady, Canelo finna beat the shit out of you, bro. I'm telling you. Your best shot was to get that W in the first fight. Because honestly, in my opinion, the fight could have went either way. Even though when I scored the fight, I scored it for Canelo. I gave Canelo the last round, which gave him the win by 1 point. But if I would have scored it, what I initially felt was a draw, then the fight would have been a draw based on how I scored it. But because I gave Canelo the last round, because I felt he was a little more active in the last round, I gave him the last round, which gave him the fight by 1 point on my scorecard. So honestly, this fight, Canelo Gennady, bro, you doing all this greasy talking, bro. Canelo finna put them paws on you, pimpin'. I'm telling you. This ain't the Canelo from the first fight. This ain't the Canelo from the second fight. It's a different Canelo. Different. So, think you motherfucking wrote a check your ass can't cash, Gennady? And I think you just in it for the check. And honestly, I'm going to keep it real with you. I think this is Gennady Golovkin's last fight. Who else is Gennady Golovkin going to fight past Canelo? Who? He could have been fought Charlo by now. He could have been fought the Benavidez's, the Andrades. He could have been fought these dudes by now. He ain't trying to fight them. He getting his Canelo money. And once he get this fight, and Gennady is what, about 41 or 40 or some shit like that. He get this Canelo money, he gone. Win, lose, or draw. He get this Canelo money, he out. In my opinion, I got Canelo beating him via stoppage late to accumulation of punishment. Canelo gonna be catching him because Triple G don't got no defense. He has no defense. You feel me? And the little defense that he has acquired, Canelo gonna pick that shit apart in the middle to late rounds. Because at the end of the day, Gennady Golovkin is gonna eventually resort back to what he knows, which is the prototypical Mexican style. And once Canelo get him set in that and he keeps him flat-footed, Canelo gonna go to work on him. He gonna go to work on it. He gonna outwork Gennady. And he's gonna be catching Gennady with nice, hard, clean shots because Gennady don't got no defense. And after a while, his corner gonna be telling him they're gonna stop that shit, and eventually the ref gonna stop it because he's gonna be taking too much punishment. It's not gonna be Gennady ain't gonna be coming forward trying to fight. It's gonna be Gennady gonna be getting his ass whipped. And he gonna be taking too much punishment. Too much. And they gonna stop it. They gonna stop that shit. So I got Canelo via stoppage. You know what I'm saying? But either way, Gennady, bro, you wrote a check, your ass can't cash. Shut your ass up. And stop acting like you ain't said no hoe shit and you ain't did no bitch shit when it comes to the sport of boxing. Don't act like you been out here really doing the best of the best of type shit, because you ain't. You've been this pretty much, you might as well say at this point, you just been chasing that Canelo money, just like these other motherfuckers doing. The only thing is you have the opportunity and the chance to actually get it. That's the only thing that separates you from Charlos and the Benavidez's of the world, is that you actually have the opportunity and the chance to get it. 100.